Hey guys, welcome back to another Miniature Adventures review. So today we are going to be reviewing the Octagon Hall. I covered it a little bit in the previous video, but I wanted to go through a lot more in this video. And then the medlab from Alien, from the Nostromo. That is then next, and that I'm really excited for. So I just wanted to... Please remember to subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps the channel, and hit that like button. Absolutely, the YouTube algorithm loves it. Now, if you like anything that we've shown in this video, any of the other videos, please, and you want to use it in your games, you don't have a 3D printer and you want someone to print, drop us an email. We can probably give you the best quote around. I'm almost guaranteed we can do that, and we can give you a nice 3D printed board to play on. So let's get on with it. So I just wanted to touch on this again and just kind of go into a bit more detail of what we can get for this set. Now, I love the atmosphere that this creates. I love the fact that this is removable, but you can glue it down, and I could just imagine literally a xenomorph kind of climbing out and surprising the crew. I love the space that we have here. We can kind of connect it up to all the different areas. We've got some beautiful terrain pieces that are absolutely fantastic and definitely add that kind of immersion to the terrain piece and to your games in general. And you get multiple different sets. We have all of these, which I really like. And you can pretty much paint these up how you want. If you don't want Wayland Yutani, you can paint these up as pretty much anything you could imagine. Now, the rooms themselves that kind of come off from this, I just love. Look at the detail on this. We've got lockers, computer, more lockers. Just really kind of adds to that used, lived in kind of feel. Here we have a really beautiful logo that's kind of on there. And then for this room, we get some of these kind of cupboards. And these all fit in the side piece like that. But I really love these. They just add character to it. And you could put your own on there. You could maybe put some beer bottles, things like that. And I really love that idea. And then for the back wall, we get a nice long one with all the foods. And that will sit nicely in the back, which I like. And then you can pretty much put these in any combination you like. You could kind of have them there if you wanted it like that, and you wanted a T-junction, that's fine. If you wanted a kind of straight through like that, with that there, that is perfectly fine. And it really is, at 100%, it's perfect for these Nostromo scale miniatures. And again, I love the walls on this. You can pretty much paint these how you want. And it's a great addition to the Nostromo set. It's very unique, but it's also kind of to any spaceship. You could definitely use this. You could use this for space station. You know, space stations definitely had maintenance hatches going down. This could be some kind of like maintenance room. Some of the other sets from LV427, you've got like workbenches. You could definitely put those in here and really kind of create a hodgepodge of it. And I love the atmosphere. Maybe, you know, like I say, you've got crew members, they've all come here and they're discussing a plan, and then oh crap, out pops a xenomorph come running up there. Or, you know, they're all going down the tunnel, suddenly the last one's there just as the alien comes bursting through the door. It just adds a whole lot of realism and theme to this terrain piece. And like I say, with the modular rooms and all of the beautiful buildings. Now this has some flashing here. That's just my printer has done that. I need to clip it all off, but I wanted to kind of show you that, you know, it doesn't require support. It prints perfectly. You do have to clean this stringy up. I have a Bamboo Labs A1. If you haven't seen that video, check it out. But yeah, that is the video. So let's take a look at the medlab.
It's amazing. What is it? Oh, yes, it is. I don't know yet.
Alright. Alright guys, so this is the medlab from the Nostromo. So this is, if you remember, where Kane comes back to where the crew first saw what the company really wanted and where survival started, the fight for survival. This is where Ash realized how dangerous the xenomorph was, and the crew itself got a kind of inclination as to what this thing could do. Now, in the medical bay aboard the U.S. Nostromo wasn't just a facility. It really was, in the movie, a narrative crucible. In the movie it's a cold, sterile space where the true horror of the xenomorph life cycle was revealed. This just captures that absolutely phenomenal. I love the layout of this. I love the fact that it's so open and so big. It's crafted for the kind of 32mm scale, but you could definitely shrink it down, and in fact we do have one for this 15mm. It just features such a modular layout, allowing you to kind of add it as you wish. The first thing we're going to look at is the corridor. So this corridor is what connects you to the Nostromo. We've got the normal standard doors, but then we've got these beautiful windows, just like in the movie. Now, you can put screens in here that do come with it. I didn't print them off because I don't use them. I prefer to kind of show this. You could, in theory, put acetate in there as well if you really want to kind of show glass. And the detail here, I just love the padding. Just reminiscent of the Nostromo, and the way it lines up perfectly so you can walk around and see kind of like most of the science lab. Now this piece here, this is that iconic piece where they're all looking through, the doorway, where basically Dallas rushes out after the acid starts leaking through, and I kind of love this centerpiece. Now it comes with two pieces like this, a left and a right. Now this is basically designed to help bridge this kind of corner here, but you still have the same beautiful design. It doesn't feel like the same old thing. It feels like a unique piece of the terrain. Now we're just going to move the crew out the way and take a look at this. And again, here, beautiful kind of padded hallway, and then we have the kind of control panels there. Links up beautifully, and then the other side is basically the same kind of thing. I love the fact that it has the kind of reinforced walls, the observation windows for this corridor, and like I say, you can link off all the way kind of up here and up there to the different parts of the ship. Just the subtle curvature of the walls really does echo the ship's brutalism. The Nostromo kind of had winding corridors, and this really adds to that. It's not just a left and a right angle, it really kind of curves. Now I kind of want to look at the actual lab itself, so we're going to zoom in and take a look, and we're going to move this so we can get a better view. Alright, so this is the lab. We have the beautiful scanners there, which I really love. The level of detail that you see here is absolutely phenomenal. Really does kind of match the aesthetics of the movie, right down to the bed. And we have two dual beds there. Comes with some beautiful science stations, which you could definitely use in other parts of the terrain if you wanted to. Print off more than one, or you could just make it more. Now this could be a medical lab for the Nostromo, but you could also easily use it for any other kind of medical facility, and I love that. It's not just stuck to the Nostromo. Now you get plenty of these chairs, which I love. They're really cool. They print in two parts, so that piece and then that piece, you print that like that, and then you print the base down there. Now here we have more. This could easily be painted as some kind of clear canister. Maybe it's holding a xenomorph or something. Lots of computers and control panels. Absolutely fantastic. Now we're going to steal this a second and take a look. Again, look at this. Just absolutely fantastic. Now I have on my Aliens and Other Glorious Day in the core, I actually have some screen grabs from the movie that I printed out and put on the screens. Now you can paint these black, simulate off, or you could do that and add those kind of things. I love the floor texture. This kind of matches the same aesthetic that they've used throughout the ship, throughout the Nostromo, especially the meeting room. So I love the fact that it has a callback to there. And then these grates give it that kind of medical but reinforced feel that we've come to expect with this terrain. Now the other side, again, we just have banks of computers and kind of like workstations, which I really absolutely love. Now the doorway, pretty much here we can see the door matches up, or the doorway tile sign matches up with the rest of the bed. Obviously it's designed to be glued all as one, and then you can kind of modularize the corridors. Again, I love the aesthetic on the floor. The chevron kind of be like warning you this is a medical facility. And then if we go over here, we're actually going to look at both these together. You can see these kind of match up. I love, again, we've got more terminals. Loving the floor, and kind of like almost like morgue doors, I feel like these are. And then we have the medical scanner, and then kind of like an operating table or some kind of like medical scanner table. I really like that. It gives you that kind of focal point of the room, just like that. And then the other side is basically the same. We'll remove these pieces of terrain so that you can see, and we'll push that back a little bit. And it just kind of gives you that focal point. You can easily put a miniature there to kind of simulate that they've been laying down. Well, there's quite a few companies that do laying down miniatures that you could put there if you wanted to. And like I say, it's pretty much to scan at 100%, which I love. I absolutely love this. So whether you want to use this for the Nostromo, or whether you want to use it as some kind of Weyland-Yutani lab, or even Weyland-Yutani ship somewhere else, absolutely fantastic. If you don't want to use it for Weyland-Yutani, it can be used pretty much for any sci-fi, and lots of space stations and ships have a medical bay, which I really love the idea that this fits into. So that's it, guys. That's the medical from Nostromo. I really hope you've enjoyed this. I've enjoyed this terrain, and we will keep going on with the Nostromo. So comment down below, what do you think of this? Will you be using it? What ideas do you have for it?